Well, good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching across all the platforms. At the minute, we've just got me and my mate, the Mighty Win,
And we've
and
got
we'll have
Mason in the chat.
Mason's in the chat, and obviously
Oh,
there's
and
going to be people.
there's beer as well.
Yeah, we're going to have people still
So
watching the
we'll have a
game
lot.
as it's on in the background.
I
So,
think with it
no,
having gone to extra time, yeah, I think we're
yeah, exactly. Welcome to all anyway across all the platforms. If you're with us, thanks to all the mods working tirelessly. I think we've got a couple of them anyway. Don't forget to hit the like button if it's something you enjoy. Helps us keep the channel going further, and obviously to get to more NUFC supporters. Subscribe if you like if you like the channel. Become a member for a small fee and a chance to win some prizes. Don't forget to check our webpage, NUFC Talk TV, for news and content. If you've got a question, put a Q in front of it at the start of the question, and we'll talk about it amongst the panel. And obviously, apologies if we don't get to mention you actually on live. If we got everybody's chat up there and we talked about it, it would make it a 3 or 4 hour session. Um, if you want, give us a Talk TV chat by using the $ at the bottom. It's guaranteed your message to be read out. All new members with gifts will be highlighted as we go on. So let's start the show, guys. Well, what can we say? I mean, let's start with the mighty Dan Ashworth. Uh, Obviously, today they've reached an agreement. Apparently, it was undisclosed and confidential, and it reached for him to start his new role as a director of football for Man U with immediate effect. But according to sources that my wingman over there has sourced for us, according to ESPN, it's cost Man U in the region of £20 million. Now, I honestly believe instead of waving the red flag, I think they now should start waving the white flag because where they were saying, like, we've done you over, I think you can actually categorically say we've got one on you guys because that is some effort by the board to hold out, especially if you believe everything you've read. And we're going to go into that in a while, but we're just going to be talking about this man to start off with. Um, so, Win, what's your thoughts on this now? Now we've got rid of him. He's off the books. We can obviously start afresh now by obviously looking in the whether we do it in the next couple of weeks or in the next couple of months by bringing the right man in that's going to work with us. And also, what your opinion on the reasons do you think um, did between Ashworth and Eddie? Do you think there was a little bit of uh, I wouldn't say dislike because I think that's the wrong word. But do you
no.
think there was an element
I
of
think
he
what
wasn't
happened.
in control?
I think there could have been a bit of a power struggle going on, but everybody hates Ashworth, including me, for jumping ship. However, I just don't think you can underestimate what he actually did in the short time that he was here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I mean,
think I think he is bloody good at his job. Probably the best in the business, which is why Man United have eventually succumbed and decided to pay the money because they want him in place now for their transfer window. They
mm,
thought they were going to get him on the cheap because they knew we were in all of our financial perils. And I think what they've done now is now that they've seen we've got the money in from Minty and from Anderson, they've probably thought, well, that's them out of the hole now. We're not going to get him cheap. We want him in as soon as possible, and especially as soon as the transfer window opens. Now, there's nobody going to tell me that behind the scenes, while he's been pruning his roses, he has not been working on deals. It's absolutely unthinkable that he will have that he won't have been.
mm,
In much the same way that when we did the same to Brighton, let's be honest, except we agreed. I mean, we're still hummed and hawed with Brighton about paying. I think they wanted 7 million originally, and we got them down to 4, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah,
we
yeah,
effectively did to Brighton what Man United have done to us. And I'm absolutely convinced that when he moved from Brighton, we got all of the leads that he'd built up and football intelligence that he'd built up at Brighton. He brought that with him. And
yeah, yeah,
similarly, he'll have taken everything that he gleaned at Newcastle to Man U with him. And that's the way of the
yeah,
world. Man U see themselves as the biggest club in the world, second biggest club in the world, whatever. And they are commercially. And they want the best guy in the business to run the sporting side of things for them. And they believe in Dan Ashworth. That's exactly what they've got. I'm not going to argue with that, actually, because his record is pretty shit hot, despite the fact we all hate his guts.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I'm honest with you, I'm going to hold my hand up because I was a little bit astonished, yeah, if I'm honest, because like I mentioned on last night's show that obviously, I mean, you've alluded to it as well, the fact that obviously directors of football do everything all about football in the background and sort out a lot of their backroom staff and coaches, and obviously spread as much regarding the players as they possibly can to obviously close the netting. And that's what Dan Ashworth was about. Now, obviously, I didn't realise that according to the reports, and again, I don't know how much detail Dan Ashworth was involved in that, but he's bought somewhere in the region of 21 players into the club. Now, a lot of them are youngsters, not even anywhere near first team. We're talking, 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Which, of course,
But they
was his
could
brief.
absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. That could be our future.
Yeah.
What he's already paved down for us could be our future.
He's already got with 33 million profit off Minty, hasn't he?
Off the
Or
Minto,
25
yeah,
million profit,
25.
sorry.
Yeah, from the 8. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I said. It's really weird, isn't it? Because he's already got us on that front foot. So from that aspect, I think he's done a great job. Ben has obviously thrown a question in. Who got all of the deals done so far without sporting director? To hell with one of them. Get that 20 mil for more players, or I'm completely wrong. Well, like we've just said, Ben, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't involved in anything. He was involved in bringing these 21 players in. The problem is the fact that both me and Win have just suggested that there was probably a little bit of unsettled in the building between Eddie, because I do believe that Eddie wants to be in a little bit more control. And obviously, Dan.
And I kind of, I do and I don't agree with that, because Eddie, for me, and this is why I don't think he'll take the England job if it comes up, because Eddie, for me, his main focus, his main enjoyment, his main everything comes from being on the pitch, coaching staff, getting his players to improve. That is his raison d'etre. That's what he's all about. And I think nothing would suit him better than to have somebody else handling all the other shit behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean,
he will naturally want to say in the type of player that comes in terms of the way the way he wants to press, etc., which the standard of football that we all know, the style of football that we all know. Sorry, and I don't think he'd be that bothered about somebody behind the scenes pulling the other strings.
No.
Whether he'd be happy with a sporting director telling him what style of football to play, then that would be a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the brief will actually be going the other way. It'll be Eddie Howe saying to the sporting director, these are the types of player I need. Check them out, check their character, da-di-da-di-da. And if you like, that's the one blemish on Ashworth's CV is Tonali.
Yeah.
How that wasn't highlighted when we bought Tonali.
Yeah.
But again, as we said the other night, if you were given the opportunity to buy Tonali for 53 million, even in the knowledge that you weren't going to get to play him for 10 months, would you still have done the deal? And that's a very interesting question.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's lots of people in the chat that have thrown out, you know, undisclosed. Somebody said it was 2 million. I've heard it was 12 million. I've heard, obviously, through that link sent, that Win sent the link through to, that ESPN now are reporting 20 million. Now, like I said, if you look at the Man U supporters, and Alice is brilliant, I must admit, she does some great content, and she does do some great stories for including us, and the strengths and weaknesses of our side, and she's great at her job. But where has she got 2 million from?
Exactly. You know, I think that was what Man United were offering originally. That might be.
Yeah. I mean, it went up to 3 million, didn't it? And then then it stopped because they obviously wanted to hold us to ransom. And to be fair, I was a little bit miffed with the fact that, like, he then goes out to his media sources and obviously makes that statement as if, you know, we're trying to do one on him, and we're not. We've got a guy who's on contract the same as any player would, and if you want him, you pay his way. You know, that's what we want for him. Pay it, match it. So Ben's put in another question of whoever sold Minte and Anderson should have a job because that was solid business.
Absolutely,
and it
was
got done.
solid business.
And yes, it was the 11th hour.
And you think we've got almost as much for Anderson as we paid for Bruno.
For Bruno, yeah.
Now you
it was exactly the same,
tell me
35.
if you're going to pay about the same money, which one do you want? I know which one I want.
Absolutely.
By the way, I think Anderson will come good. I'm a big fan of Anderson.
Well, I've said all along, I agree with you, mate. But the only thing I thought with Anderson at the minute was the fact that, you know, you have got a lad who needs to play games.
Just by the by, Portugal penalty, Ronaldo to take. This will be history of his scores.
And if that's the case, then, you know, the way I look at it,
he saved it.
Really, he's missed the blooming penalty. He's not had a great game this year, has he? Well, this game.
Fucking hell! Ronaldo misses a penalty.
If you look at the way Anderson has performed for us over his 55 games, he's developed massively, changing positions, exactly the same Eddie did with J7, and what a midfielder he's become. Now, I believe in the future he'll be the same, but I would imagine that what Nottingham Forest will try and do now is getting back on the left-hand side, because that's obviously where they'll try and play him in his natural position. But I wish the lad all the best because, like I said, to me, he shows what a professional he is. Because obviously, according to the 11th hour, and again, I'm only going on what the rumours are and everything else, he was contacted. The two players were actually in Nottingham, in a Nottingham hotel, because at one point last night, they didn't know what club they were going to. Now, if you don't have to believe me, you've only got to go and have a look at YouTube and have a look at Keith Downey's reports. They're all on there. It's all fact-based. I don't try and be the man who knows type of thing. I only listen to reputable sources. And he said it was a case of both of them being in Nottingham. They didn't know what club they were going to. They knew there was offers coming in for them, but they were still negotiating. And obviously, we realised then that Minte was going to Brighton, and off he trotted, and Anderson went to Nottingham. but he was the ultimate professional. Apparently, he got a phone call to say that we are really stuck, and I need you to be part of this deal. And he put his thumb up. And if you have a look at his Twitter page, he's done a beautiful tweet out there showing him from a kid, his first time coming through the youth ranks at Newcastle, and he will always be remembered as in the in the history
And
of Newcastle. And I hope one day he comes back.
because he's still very young, and if he
Yeah,
does the business and comes back, and goes on to be what we hope he can be, we'll buy him back when we've got loads of
and we've
money.
got loads of money. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna move on now from because I've got a really strange these two. There's been real
Yeah,
conflicting stories going around from a lot of ITKs as you, yeah, if that's what you want to call them. Um, Conflicting stories about rumor for sale. Some believe it, some don't. Now, me, myself, and I actually believe there's some truth behind this, only because of the reputable sources that it came from. And again, if you don't believe me and what I'm saying, go and have a look at Keith Downey's YouTube videos. And obviously, he does his own blogs, rather the same as I forgot his name, Craig Hope. They've both said exactly the same. Um, they were There were talks between Chelsea and Isaac and Liverpool with Gordon. Originally, it was Quansah for Gordon with the swap and cash. They pulled away from that because Liverpool don't want to get rid of Quansah. And after that, they were still thinking about offering some money for Gordon. Now, I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't what they were looking for.
well,
But
I wouldn't sell Gordon for less than 100. I
it was
don't care.
nowhere near that. That's the impression
Exactly.
I got.
I don't care what anybody said. I can say it's pie in the sky. I wouldn't let Gordon go for less than 100. I wouldn't let Isak go for less than 150, and I wouldn't let Bruno go for less than 125.
Yeah. And when you look at it, when you break it up, what they were saying is this because obviously growing up as a kid, he was a Liverpool fan,
Yeah.
and you've heard all the story. He's not ashamed to admit all this stuff. He'll say it as he sees it because he's that way inclined. And what he's what they've tried to do is unsettle him. That's what it looks like to me. And obviously with that, if his head's been turned, there's going to be two Gordons potentially that could come back.
Yeah, I
It could be
agree.
the Gordon that comes back and he just brushes off and he continues to develop at Newcastle, or it could be the Gordon that we had a flash of seeing when he got pulled off and substituted, where he lost his rag a little bit. And obviously, if that's the Gordon that we see when he comes back, he wants to go to Liverpool. I hope he doesn't. I hope he sticks by his guns, and I will still support him until I see the other Gordon appear. But with
I
Isaac,
just think that Gordon is now mentally and psychologically developed sufficiently that when he comes back, even if he does have an inkling to go to, you'll not see any let up in his performance for us.
no,
I think he's a proper committed professional. The interview we did with Gary Neville was blew
was
my
super, wasn't
mind
it?
away. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe what a grounded individual he was. And
No,
if you watched
absolutely.
him doing the interviews for and he's been called on England duty, he's been
Yeah.
absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely, and this is what I'm saying. I don't, like I said, I don't want to be an ITK. I don't want people to think that I'm pulling this out of fresh air. All I'm saying to you is, with the amount of media interest that this created, just this subject on its own, there
Speculation.
must be some truth behind it. There must be, because these are reputable sources. They're not, nobody.
Yeah, well,
Craig Hope, we
I
all
think
like.
that even the club have said that they, you know, the problem I've got is that the media, the original media reports said that Newcastle had approached Liverpool.
Yeah,
And if that's the case, that worries me.
Yeah.
Why we would, because that's something that could make them say, oh, well, they don't rate us, they don't want us, they are touting me around.
Yeah.
The other reports were that Liverpool inquired about him and were told, yes, it's a possibility, but we will want cancer. We'll take cancer. And
You make me laugh when you say that. We'll take cancer.
yeah, I know. Well,
Cancer.
isn't it weird that Liverpool don't want to get rid of cancer? It's
Bless him. Where's Chris? Nervous as hell, I presume, in the USA game. Yeah, he's still out in Miami, matey. He's having some fun. I think he's trying to get Messi to sign for Newcastle.
yeah.
And you know, Alex Cook said, Mikey said, Alex Cook said Liverpool inquired about availability, and Newcastle said he's not for sale. Then it's all blown up in the media.
Well, I'm
like
sure
said,
it'll take one conversation between Anthony Gordon and Eddie Howe when he comes back, and it'll all be water under the bridge, business as usual.
Yeah. I mean, from the way I look at it, I have two ideas, right? And I know this is going to sound a bit crazy when I say this, but my two ideas are thus. And I know, like Paul hit on it yesterday when he said, don't think that Newcastle are doing this system where they're throwing the media out there. I don't think it's the media that they're trying to get over. I think they're trying to be clever. Now this is my idea. I haven't got this from any source. But are they being clever to make it look like we're in trouble with the PSA, to ease the transfers, the in and outs, where we're not held for ransom? Hence we've got good prices for two sales.
I've said that for months, but I've said that on the basis that my honest belief was that PIF were too smart to have ever got into a FFP, sinkhole. Now, by all accounts, we were in that predicament. So that straight away refutes what I was thinking about how smart PIF were. Because for to be in that situation, unless they knew, they could have had these deals lined up some time ago. With these two, in the event that would you be interested? Yes, and they could have sufficiently good working relationships with whoever's involved at Brighton. And I mean, obviously, we did a good deal with Brighton at the finish for Ashworth. We got Dan Burn from there. So there's obviously decent lines of communication. The compensation package for Ashworth was settled relatively quickly. It took a couple of weeks or something, but that was settled relatively quickly. So the lines of communication between Newcastle and Brighton are fairly good. Nottingham Forest, they took Shelby and Wood. So there's lines of communication there that are obviously open, and they've got multi-billion-pound owners as well. And that circle of people who go around in those rarefied business circles, they could have had it all lined up more or less to say, right, look, if we do get stuck, are you happy for these deals to go ahead? And they've said, yes, no problem. And you owe us one, or words to that effect. You're mute. You're mute, Gary.
Have we been clever by not opening ourselves up fully and just saying, you know what, I'm going to play the cards on the table here and see where we go? If I'm honest with you, I don't believe that for 1 minute. And I don't believe that for 1 minute simply because the way it all ended up at the 11th hour. Now, for the club who is okay, they've got the money behind them, it's just a facade and all that. Don't present goalkeepers at 10 to 1 in the morning and introduce them to the club and things like that. Because it can be done the next day. There is no reason, there was no point in doing it, but they made sure that past midnight that they got the two guys that came in, which was Ruddy and the keeper, the other keeper, Vlado. And obviously they said about Anderson and Minte going the opposite direction. And that's what I said. For me, it was a little bit skeptical because of that reason only. So the other thing I'm going on, this is my second opinion, and this is what I probably believe more to. And again, I've got no proof of this. This is just my opinion. Have we just been pulled in the finance department by going a little bit, cash happy at the start? Have we now realised that if we had a bailout idea, which was, I believe, a sponsor that's coming on board for stadium sponsor or something like that, was we expecting that money just to be there before this date, which would have bailed us out of this situation?
Well, I think, in fact, yes, we were. And, of course, those plans were scuppered with the APT regulations that they brought in January. So maybe the amounts involved, and of course, we're all talking in the dark here. This is pure speculation.
Absolutely. That's what I said. This is an opinion.
Let's say Aramco were going to come in with a £50 million stadium naming deal.
Yeah.
And let's say that with the introduction of the APT regulations, we felt that 50 million would be challenged and overturned, so we wouldn't be able to get that much money. But then, let's say, Man City came on the scene with this challenge to APT, and they've said, well, hang on a minute. If we do the deal with Aramco now, the Premier League are going to say they can only pay 25 million. Whereas, if Man City win their case, we'll be able to get the 50 million. And that has led to the late panic.
Yeah.
To get the money.
Which is what I believe.
They've thought they were going to get the money in from, and also we've heard about the deal with Leo Vegas for the training ground, the training kit.
Yeah.
So all of those things could have come together to knock everybody's plans awry.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they've been shrewd enough and clever enough to make sure that by midnight last night, all the ducks were lined up and we were hunky-dory. Because the one thing, I've heard loads of people saying, just spend what you want and take a 10-point deduction.
Yeah.
I've never, ever, ever been in favour of that, because points in the Premier League are so hard to come by.
Absolutely.
That 10 points could be the difference between not being in Europe, not being in the Champions League. It could cost you millions.
Well, position in the league, isn't it?
Tens of millions.
Absolutely. And I mean,
and stunt your growth accordingly.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. At the end of the day, what we've got to do to catch with the cartel is put ourselves in the shop window, and the only way we're going to do that is by being consistently in the top 4, 5.
You've got to be
in
for us to be able to. If any of these associated party transactions rules remain, we have to be in Europe, preferably in the Champions League, so that we can turn around and say we are entitled to at least the same sponsorship as the rest of the Toxic Six are.
Yeah, because that was part of my question, just what I said about the poor finances. Because the way I look at it and what I've read into it, when you looked at Everton getting the 10-point deduction and stuff like that, they weren't going. They were nowhere near what supposedly our figure was. So it was a minimum of 10 points that we would have had. But because of who we are, do you not think that they would have
they would have
maybe made an example of us?
absolutely. They would. I'm sure they would. I've got no. It definitely. It's get the tune.
Yeah.
You
It's got it
know.
written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the other reasons why I'm thinking about, if we would have just said like what everybody was saying, just let them give it to us. I really honestly believe it would have been something like a 15-point deduction. I'm just going to throw this one on if you give us a chance, because this is from Jens. Jens Gartenham. Great show, hombres. Thanks ever so much, buddy. How much did we get from Cashbath? We don't know, mate. That is the gospel truth. We've heard 3 or 4 different sums from 2 million, 10, 12. My mate here, my right wing man,
I can guarantee you it'll be more than 2 million. He would still be on. If all they were offering was 2 million, he would still be on garden leave.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
would just let him rot.
And according to a source on ESPN, it's come back as 20 million. But again, everywhere else, it's an undisclosed, a confidential agreement. So where they've got that from, who only knows? Because somebody obviously is giving these figures out. And I don't know, mate. I don't know. But thanks ever so much for the question. It says Jim Savile, or what his face, is a window licker. And I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. So from that,
for 20 mil, I think we've taken their pants down. As good as Ashworth may or may not be.
Absolutely. And yes, I know we've lost 2 hot prospects, and we have. And it will probably come back and haunt us at some point, because there's no buyback clause on these 2. But like Winners alluded to, there's no reasons why we can't go back and buy them again at a future date. So
just to address Ronnie's point there, losing your best player could mean losing games and losing 15 to 18 points. I think for to say any players worth, actually, strangely, apart from a goalkeeper, because goalkeepers can get you additional points.
Yeah.
Points that you would have lost. But for to say that if you lose a player, you're going to drop 15 to 18 points. Look how many players we lost last season.
Yeah.
Who were unavailable last season, including Tonali for the whole season.
Yeah.
And we finished up, 10 points less than what we were the season before? With a decimated squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beer's got a good one on here. It would have been closer to 20 points as the breach was double Everton's. And that's exactly, they would have made a spectacle of us. And literally that would have allowed all of the red cartel to literally point the finger and laugh.
This is the other thing as well, though, that there's no evidence anywhere, that there's no table you can look at to say X million pounds equals such and such. Man United got done for 220 million.
Yeah.
And they got fined 200,000.
Yeah.
No points. This is 2 years ago.
This was 2 years ago. Yeah. Crazy.
So there's nothing in stone as far as we know. And that's something that should change as well.
Well, the beauty
then you could make an educated decision on whether is it worth being on the wrong side of FFP by 20 million if you know it's going to cost you 2 points. Is it worth being 50 million the wrong side if you know it's going to cost you 4 points?
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? They're not going to give you too much information because people aim for certain points then, don't they? You know what I mean? They'll look at where they are come January.
For anybody who's not watching or whatever, it's gone to penalties now.
Hey.
So it'll be interesting to say. And by the way, this puts into perspective England's performance.
Yeah, it does actually.
We got a 0-0 draw, and they've had an extra half an hour to try and score.
Half an hour. That's absolutely true.
So Slovenia aren't the mugs that we thought they were. Obviously, certainly they're not the mugs I thought they were.
Ron's put, look at last season, we were effed and lost 18 to 21 points. And that's where you've got to put into perspective. We could have quite easily, if the rumours are true, that we were completely in the mire regarding finances. We could have, again, the report said if Chelsea had have tabled 115 million for Isaac, they would have had to make a decision on that figure. Now, that speaks volumes for me. Absolute volumes. So that, just like I said, this isn't me talking hot air. That's fact. You can go and look it up if you go and look at Keith Downey's YouTube videos. But enough of that, because it's in the past now. We are clear of
onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I believe now. Obviously, we'll hear a lot more if we did fail to meet the target at the deadline very soon. But the positive thing now, because it's obviously July the 1st, is this lad who signed on a permanent basis, a 5-year contract, and we got him for a reduced fee win, which surprised me, because I was expecting 30+ million for this lad. And by all accounts, and again, there's no exact figure out there. It's in a range from
28.
I've seen 25 million
for a long
yeah,
time.
I've seen 25 million, and I've also seen 28 million. So it's going to be somewhere in between that.
I think it's 28, and I think it would have been 33 had we got into the Champions League.
Yeah,
and if he had played X number of games. But
yeah, potentially, yeah.
But I thought I put that up there just a sec, because it's effectively what Bia was saying. I think was that Minty has paid for Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
It doesn't work quite that way, because Minty's money went into 23-24 year.
Yeah.
Hall's money comes out of 24-25 year.
Yeah.
So one was before the 1st of July. Lewis Hall is today. So that's after.
But you know what pleases me is watching this lad at the end of last year and seeing what a good prospect this lad is going to be for us for the future. I mean, he's still very young. He's still got a hell of a lot to learn. But I do believe we have certainly got a little gem in this lad.
Slovenia missed their first penalty.
Oh dear! It'll be gutting for them to have worked this hard and obviously not get anything. But like I say, regarding Lewis Hall, I'm just so glad he's a permanent fixture now, and we have got him. Ian Fleming's thrown a question in, so I'm just gonna look at Ron's first. Yeah, I agree, mate. He should be out with England.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much do you think we will be able to spend this window? Well, crikey, mate, that's a $1 million question, because at the end of the day, it all changes a little bit over these next couple of seasons. And this is what I was trying. We were talking to each other in the background, and we know it's a rolling 3-year period, and you lose the first year, and you bring the third year into the equation.
It's still just 35 million, though. It's 35 million pounds a year. So because we've lost 1 year, it means we can now lose another 35 million.
35 million, yeah. But we can spend whatever we want as long as you're not more than that money in deficit.
Yeah.
So the question is, mate, who knows?
Well, I'll tell you how much we've got.
Go on.
Because they've missed their second penalty now, Slovenia.
Oh dear.
Portugal scored. We've got 110 million near us, damn it, from Sky. We've got 25 million from Adidas.
Yeah.
From Seller.
Yeah.
And we've got 20 million, I think, from Adidas. So there's 140 million. You can have another 35 million that you can go over. So there's 175 million.
Yeah.
Out of that, though, you've got to take all your wages.
Okay.
And I think our current wage bill is round about the £60 million mark. 60, 70 million pound mark. I don't know how all the new contracts have affected that. So you could be talking in the comfortably for me in the region of 80, 90 million, which can be amortized, of course.
Amortized, absolutely. So that
So
could be.
if you spend £100 million on a player, there's only 20. You can amortize that over 5 years here, and there's only 20
That's
million
probably true.
comes out of this year's budget. So I think we've got money in the bank to pay for 2 quality, elite, first team ready players, and I'll be very disappointed if we don't get them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the money is as big as it is long, isn't it?
My God, Slovenia have missed 3 on the trot now.
Oh Jesus, they've gone, haven't they?
So
they just need one more penalty.
Portugal have scored their first 2.
Yeah.
1 to go.
And from that aspect, it's like I say, we need to start strengthening certain positions. I don't know whether you guys were with us when we were discussing, obviously, Murphy's attributes and what he's brought to the team last year. I mean, bless him, my mate Win there was gobsmacked when he was top of the tree with his goal chance creation. And that's what I said. When you look at somebody like Murphy, he's one of those squad players. He's never going to make the first team, but it was just so nice for the lad to be up there amongst some big names, and
Portugal through
the contribution that he does do well for the team. And Beer Viking here got your mate Mighty Win used to work at the financial director at Enron. I'll tell you something now. When me and Mighty Win were watching the England game, Beer Viking, the entire match just made us laugh. It was
kept
hilarious.
us entertained thoroughly.
Oh, it was so much better than the bloody game was. So our next thing is this lad, Miguel Almeron. So obviously there's been links today that he's been talking. I don't know who's been talking, whether it's just his agent, whether Miggy's, obviously, because he's still out in America. But
not for long.
There's rumours saying that he's going to. No, he's not for long, as they're going to be out after the next game. Rumours say that he's going to Al Ittihad, or that's the club that wants him. Now, that's got some cracking players, hasn't it? Is it Conte? Conte's there. Benzema's there.
Yeah.
If he gets the chance to go there, I think that'll be a great move for him. But I mean, again, if you look at a lot of the links, it says it's an unidentified team in the Saudi League. But I have seen that somebody's put out there that it's Al Ittihad. I don't know how true that is. That's not confirmed. But what type of money would you think we could get for him, Win?
If he'd had a good Copa America, it could have knocked it up a bit, but sadly he hasn't.
Yeah,
20 maybe, you reckon? 30 years old?
Potentially.
I mean, I don't think I'd let him go for less than 20.
You wouldn't?
No, because nobody else does, but I still like Mickey. I think.
Well, I don't think it's a case of nobody else. Nobody else doesn't. It's not the fact that they don't like Miggy. It's more the fact that what they
can't stand him.
No, yeah, but that's what I said. It's because of the amount of end product, isn't it? It's all about the end product, and it's like ASM. He's great up until the final third. Then one or two times it worked beautifully, but one or two times it didn't. And people were always going to be. It's like Marmite. You're either going to love him or hate him. Miggy works his bloody socks off for the team. You can't fault him. But at this level, you need more than just work, don't you? It's like we talk about Sean Longstaff. He works according to Eddie Howe. He fits the side perfectly for his work rate and everything that he does, and his contribution to goals. But there's a hell of a lot of people out there that support the club that don't want anywhere near the club. And that's what I'm saying. It depends on who you like. I mean, I think if you can get 20 for him, he's gone.
I'm probably in a minority of one, but given the choice between Miggy and Longstaff, I would have Miggy every day of the week.
Mate, I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you at all. But the trouble is who do you can't have Miggy in the middle of the park. Do you know what I mean? So what the way it's working at the moment, I mean, Beer saying 25 for Miggy. Mate, I said anything north of 20, I would snap their hands off.
But I just stuck that up before. Sorry, Gary.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. You know the Newcastle United
lettering. Oh yeah, I've got that at the end. I'm going to come to that. That's why I didn't put it up, buddy.
Okay, say no more.
No, that's all right, mate. That's okay. And we've got where are we? I've lost where I was then for a second.
We're on about Miggy, 25 million.
Yeah, like I said, anything north of 20 million, and I would say thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, it means we've got our money back off him, and we've had 5 years out of him.
5 years out of him, absolutely.
Which is,
and to be fair, that's his slate should be virtually. I mean, well, I say that he can't be because he's not long signed another contract, has he? So it would still be something off the coffers, but it wouldn't be his full contract. But from that point of view, I can't fault it. So obviously there's a potential that Miggy could be very close to going out the window. And we have this next one. Let me just check my screen. And it's these two that are coming in. So John Ruddy, 37-year-old keeper who's coming on a free. And he is obviously. Hey, right, are you right, buddy? And he's he's come in obviously to add a little bit more experience to the side. Now, obviously, when we heard about Odyssey's Vlachimiros, he's the lad that you can look at on the right as you see it at the screen. I'm sure you recognise who Ruddy is in the Newcastle strip. Now, obviously, when we were talking yesterday, we still didn't really have a clue who was going to be our number 2, who was going to be our number 3. And it's still up in the air because I can only assume, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, that Ruddy will be 3, and this Odyssey's Vlaco, Vlachodimos and Pliers. I mean, if anybody remembers the record, you'll understand what I said there. Or I'm just showing my age. If he's going to be our number 2, you've got to remember that he lost his position at Nottingham Forest to Matt Sells, who we couldn't wait to see the back of. But that could be just a confidence issue. It could be just the team that he was playing in, lots of players, and obviously changing of manager and God knows what. It could have just upset him as a player, hence his form dipped. I mean, he only played, I believe, the figures that you put on yesterday, Win. He only played 5 games.
Yeah.
At the entire season, is it correct? Can you remember?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
But anyway, it's good to see. Obviously, we are now completely up to the hilt on goalkeepers, so that's good news. Our lovely Roy's with us now on the panel. He's obviously driving back from one of his palaces, I would imagine.
I was watching the Portugal game against Slovenia.
Oh, no. Crazy, wasn't it? Crazy ending.
Yeah, but I thought about something. I think we were a bit harsh on England when they drew.
He just said exactly the same.
We've been through all of that.
Have you?
Oh,
he's just said exactly the same.
Great minds think alike.
It puts that into perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
I mean, they've been knocked out, but they haven't lost. They've drawn 4 games, and it was the same thing: low block, and Ronaldo missed a penalty in extra time.
Yeah.
and then Slovenia had a 1-on-1 with the keeper, and the
Right.
guy decided to shoot. He could have went through the keeper and just tapped it in, and that's it, game over. Portugal out. He didn't, and they got
It
a
was done.
penalty then, and they missed all 3 penalties.
Jeez, crazy. Just going to go through a few questions,
They
Roy,
played
while you're
10 games
driving
in
back.
total last season, including 5
It was
for
10
Greece.
games, was it?
Including 5 for Greece.
Yeah.
And his
Foxy's
average,
put Miggy.
average SOFA score was 7.16, so in the green.
That's not bad, you know. Averaging over 7 for a poor team.
29 saves made, 18
That's
from
no
inside the
disrespect
box.
to Forest.
Yeah,
because it took them a long time to get like Chelsea to find a decent team, didn't it? Because they've got so many players. Foxy's put Miggy is very religious. I don't see how he'll ever end up in Saudi. If he goes there, he'll last no more than 6 months. And yeah, mate, I totally agree. That is the reasons why he never moved over there in January. It was because of his religious issues. But there ain't a lot we can do about that, is there? It is what it is. Where are we? Hi, Lady Sam. I don't know, mate. If one of us is Lady Sam, you need to go to Specsavers.
It's not me.
Lady Sam's on the Toon Review.
Yeah,
I just wondered
exactly.
if she was in the chat, but can't see her.
Can't see her.
No, I think
All South
it's
Americans are religious,
facetious.
especially playing in Saudi. Yeah, it's obviously your eyes win.
Yeah, I should have gone to Specsavers.
Oh, hi, Lady Sam. I think it's Roy. Obviously, he's in darkness there, so it could be actually anybody.
Oh yeah, we can see the beard though.
Yeah, you can. It's coming back nicely. Jamie Donald said, "Would you sell the big man that played in goal against England?"
Dubravka.
Yeah,
we will
he's
sell
going,
him.
isn't he? We've got 4 goalkeepers.
I think the fact that we've sold the fact that we've brought in Ruddy and the Greek means Dubravka is definitely on the way. I don't know. Well,
There's a link still to Celtic, isn't it? There was still a massive link to Celtic, and I think they are looking.
Ian Fleming, who's in one of our mods, who's a big Celtic fan, said that there was no substance.
Well, I've heard again today that Celtic are coming in for him, but I don't know. Again, no massive source. It was somebody in the know. Sesko missed the breakaway late in the second overtime. Yeah, I saw that. Would-be farmer, can an FCU outsider watch the NUFC insider? Would they cancel out and we all disappear? Oh, that's a good one. I would have to go and look that one up, my friend. Nice to have you with us, matey. Jamstasher, smile. Hi. Greetings. There's a few Lady Sams here. I'm starting to worry, buddy. I really am. Blue Viking, Dubravka spoke to Craig Hope. Craig said he wants to speak to Eddie. How about the new keeper situation?
Well, that's
there you go. Yeah. And Jamstash has come back and said, we need 3 more keepers. 5 is not enough.
Hey, we're building up our bank of keepers the way we did with left backs last year.
Yeah,
there's no way we bring 2 keepers over 30 and Dubravka stays.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that's all our 4 now over 30.
Yes.
Right.
We've got
in the last decade, only one born Paraguayan, Ayala, that's played in Saudi and lasted less than a year. So, I mean, there's a lot of chat about religion here. Woodby's put Miggy can be an evangelist in Saudi, carry the Bible door to door. That would go over well.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I didn't realise that, Foxy. That's a good bit of info, mate. Last decade, one born Paraguayan, Ayala, that's played in Saudi and lasted less than a year. So obviously, there's lots of difficulties out there. I again, like I say, there's a hell of a lot of Brazilians.
There's loads of Brazilians and Latinos there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know why he's refusing so much to go out
Well,
there.
Roy, we've got the very man to ask. Are there
Yeah.
any Catholic churches at all in Saudi?
No, I don't think they've got.
No,
any
like I say though,
they've got in Bahrain and Qatar and UAE, but they haven't. I don't think they've got any in Saudi.
No, I didn't
But
think so either.
I think they've got. I think they've got like religious centers, and I'll have to ask some people anyway. And then like people do it in houses and stuff. So, like Ronaldo and Ronaldo won't be religious. But there's loads of religious players there. I'll find out who anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they're secular.
I mean, I tell you what, if he goes to a club in Riyadh, he's not gonna have any problems at all. 'Cause Ronaldo and all those Brazilians and they've got this huge community full of expat players and stuff. That he's gonna love it there.
yeah. I mean, again, I don't know how true this is because it said that there was a unnamed Saudi club talking to Newcastle about the chance of taking Miguel. But then a little bit later on, it come out that it was I can never say Etihad. Al Ittihad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
who's
in,
got they've got Kante and Benzema there.
Benzema's there.
I mean,
yeah.
they've got some cracking players. I know they're
Yeah,
getting on now. They've got the Brazilian goalkeeper there as well, haven't they?
I think I would have taken Benzema when we were struggling for a striker.
Oh, and me, definitely.
So if he goes, it'll be great there. That's not Riyadh though. That's in Jeddah, so they'll be in the same city as Maxi.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying.
Their derby's against Ahli, which is Maxi's team. So
It's his team,
their
yeah.
derby match will be.
Oh well,
Maxi.
he's going shack up next door to Maxi, man. That'll be good.
And then have you seen the Riyadh Mahrez? He's got his wife. His wife is she's famous, and they've got this YouTube channel or something like what do you call it, Kardashian kind of thing they've got going on.
All right.
And so every week they've got an episode in Saudi, and she wears some dodgy stuff like, and nobody says anything. So happy days. There's more freedom than we think.
Well, that's what I'm saying, mate. Again, from people that don't live there, it's pie in the sky. Jens, I don't know what you mean when you're questioning marking Louis Saul. We have mentioned it, my friend. I don't know whether you missed it. He's with us now on a permanent contract. I believe I'm sure it's a 5-year contract.
Yeah,
and it ended up at 28 million.
28 million from this year.
I've seen 25 to 28 million, and obviously we've already had Foxy and some others say you've got to take in the year's loan, which was 4 million on top of that, so it would have bumped it up to 32-ish million. Which I still for a young prospect like Louis Saul, I don't think that's a bad buy at all. Do you?
No, good buy.
That's good. I mean, we lost one yesterday, and we've gained Louis Hall anyway, and we know he's like.
Yeah.
Ian Fleming's in there. Talk from Celtic is they were thinking about Dubs, but not sure he was fit the way they play.
Yeah, I'd starred that one. You see to come back. But yeah, you're right. I mean, regarding our current goalkeeping situation, you've got to take it all now with a pinch of salt. We've got four goalkeepers. Where's anybody else going to come to? So Karius is gone. We don't know who's going to be number 3. I can only assume it's going to be Ruddy.
Ruddy 3, yeah.
So obviously now we've got a number 2 goalkeeper in Vlachodimos. So where's he going to go? Like I said, across the chat on social media, it's sounding like Celtic is literally there at the door, ready to take him. But again, with the Euros being on, and obviously now he's going to be coming home, I'm sure you'll probably hear a lot more in the next couple of days. What else did we say? What's this one? They can go to Mecca.
Well, we were going to come back to the sign coming down.
Yeah, I've got another one still to do, mate.
You can still on.
Michael McIntyre says we've got to sign Lady Sam. I think you need to go and look at the other channel, my friend, because it's certainly not on this one. I'm just going to put this one up because there was a lot of talk last night when we were doing the show about.
And he was allegedly going today.
He was allegedly going in the next 24 hours.
Yesterday.
Yes, and that was last night. And again, this is what I'm saying about ITKs and God knows what. There was talks, a Saudi club, it's what it said. Saudi club were talking to him and it looked promising. And there's been
West Ham
absolutely
also.
bugger all. Apart from Win and Roy, I saw the link saying, and I don't know where again this has come from, it's unconfirmed, potentially signing a new 12-month contract extension.
Yes, I've seen that as well.
Did you see it?
I don't mind that one. Yeah, I don't mind that one.
No, I don't mind it at all.
Don't mind it at all. As long as he's happy being number 2, because that's where the stink was, wasn't it? Because he said he wanted to play more minutes.
Well, I think he'll get plenty of minutes.
You think he will?
I think he'll get plenty of minutes, yeah.
Because I still can't see. I know Isaac had the last 3 months of the season, nothing happened to him, but something always happens to him every time. So I think
they both made of glass.
Yeah, I think we should start the season just like last season before the injury started happening. Start with Isaac 60 minutes, take him off, get Wilson on 30 minutes.
And switching after 60 minutes, and then if you're in a hole like we were at Brentford, put them both on.
Both on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it works. But
it worked a treat.
It did. It worked beautifully, didn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely beautifully.
And everybody knows I rate Callum super highly. I think he's the nearest I've seen. When he's fit, he's the nearest I've seen to Shearer. He's got the lot.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I think he's superb. And from everything that I've seen of the town. Sorry, I keep saying the town, and I've got to stop that because it drives me fucking insane. Of the tune recently, since we have bought Isaac, and the way we change with Wilson, you can play totally different football. You can get the ball up to Wilson with his back to their goal, and he'll bring in other players. He likes to be on the half turn. I like Wilson. I've said for years, if we can keep him fit, we've got a really good chance of him getting double figures for you. Really good chance.
I think if you get 15 games out of Callum Wilson, I bet you get 10 goals.
Yeah. I totally agree. For me, he's
and hopefully by not overplaying him, he won't get the injuries that he gets.
Yeah, you'll protect him more.
And that's the one thing I want to see Eddie do next season.
What's that?
Exactly.
That he's been reluctant to do, rotate.
Yeah. Imagine doing that.
I defended him last season by saying it's all very well saying rotate. Who's he going to rotate with? Because we had nobody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this season, if we've got a full squad of players, there's no reason why he shouldn't, and I'm pretty sure that he will.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I mean, it's DCL. Like I said, I had no issues with them getting DCL. The problem with getting DCL, you're using good money to buy somebody that we've already got. So why can't we just keep Callum Wilson and give him an extension on his contract if he's happy to stay here? He knows the club, he knows the players, we know him. Yeah. So it didn't make any sense to me because you're getting like for like. So it made us all.
The only sense it ever made was because we were in a financial hole.
Financial scrutiny, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you work it all out, this lad that we were really serious about getting DCL. They were looking at him because of statistically, he was virtually a mirror image, apart from the aerial ability of Callum Wilson and the defensive qualities.
Yeah, so That'll do for me. Do for me, Doctor. I don't mind him getting another year.
No, nor me. I
But
think
of course,
it's,
you look stupid. You get mud all over your face if he suddenly picks up another long-term injury or 2 long-term injuries.
I'd rather have a young striker if Wilson stays. Get a third young striker.
Yeah. I think it's a gamble whichever way you go, isn't it? It's a total.
Every transfer is a gamble, in or out.
Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, look how many youngsters we've seen.
The one thing you know about it's less of a gamble with Wilson, because the one thing you know with Wilson is if he's fit, he will score goals. Yeah. He's done it consistently
time and time
his
again.
career. You're guaranteed goals with Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. If we keep Wilson, we can go hard for the sensational right winger, and that's what I've just said.
Yep.
If you have to go and buy a striker as well, then you're taking some of the coffers out the tin to get a good right winger and a centre back. Ronald says we need to rotate Isaac and Wilson, keep them both fit.
Absolutely.
And I believe that's exactly what they'll do. I think 60, the usual Eddie Howe 60-minute mark, will be the time to change things. And if we can get somebody on the right-hand side that can also vary his position, run through the middle, what I want to see a little bit more this year is Gordon to be protected, because we've got Barnes. There's no reason to bring... I mean, obviously, last year it was difficult because we hadn't got Wilson to rely on. And that's why I'm hoping during the off-season he's done himself, the world of good by keeping himself fit.
And answer to Jam Stasher there, has anybody seen a right winger in the Euros that's blowing their socks off? I really like the look of Mikatadze from Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly at the right price. I said yesterday, I love that young 17-year. Is it 17? Yamal for Spain.
Yeah.
What a player he's going to be. What a player he's going to be.
That'll be 100 million now, I think.
Easy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say we were going to buy him. I just said, he asked the question, who do you like? And that's who I like. By the way, lads, the picture quality is a bit blurry.
Oh, mine's okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it looks...
Mine's dodgy until I get home.
I mean, you've got
it is a little bit blurry, I must admit.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
It's not sharp, but I think, to be fair, mate, I've probably got... I am probably running my computer to the max, to be fair. Jam Stasher probably would say Yamal for Spain. There you go. Absolutely. Realistic right wingers anyway. Not that kid for Spain. Struggling now, but except for him.
There's that Dutch one who's a free agent now.
Free agent, yeah. I was just trying to think of his blooming name.
Who we on about here?
He played for Man U, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, they're young and that's an...
It'll come to me. Foxhill now. He'll be up there in a minute with
Memphis Depay.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I said. He didn't do anything in the Premier League. But did he do? Did it? Is it because he was playing at Man U?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean? Because, like I said, a lot of players come that are absolutely exceptional in the Dutch leagues and all the other leagues. And Mikatadze is a left-sided player, not a right winger, according to.
Oh, yeah.
I think he could. I think he could play out there, and that's what we were saying about Murphy. Murphy plays on the right wing and he's right-footed, and I think that's why do we need 2 inverted wingers? We don't. I think we need to change it up. We need to beef it up a little bit more, and that's why I wasn't so upset when we didn't get Elise. And to be fair, all speculation is that Munich still haven't made the deal yet, because they've got to sort some things out before they can make the sum that Chelsea are looking for.
Yeah.
Vikings gone for Gibbs White could be on the cards. That Anderson fee was inflated. Depay's part-time footballer now, more dedication to the rap career. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Totally agree with that. Sorry, Alice. Michael McIntyre. You need to go and see a doc, buddy. So, Roy, I'm glad you're with us, matey, because obviously you've missed nearly all the blooming show because you obviously want to watch football. At the start of the show, buddy, I'm just going to go quickly over what we've talked about. We talked about Dan Ashworth. How do you feel about Dan Ashworth going?
I'm glad he's gone. Well, we knew he was gone ages ago, but the twats
Yeah.
waited until the
But it was just tickling
financial
on,
year's
wasn't it?
finished.
Yeah.
This balance. I would. The thing is, what I would do now is Newcastle should never do any business with Man U unless it's in our favor.
Yeah.
And if they are stuck for money ever, shouldn't help them in any way. Even if we do want to buy one of their players or something, and even if it's a good deal, just don't give them the money. Because the twat. Just do the same to them. We can't do it now. We don't bend over backwards like we used to anyway. So I'm happy with this.
No, absolutely. No. Now, we've heard all sorts of fees because obviously Sky Sports were the ones who put out there that it was an undisclosed fee. That was circulated.
2 seconds, Gary.
Yeah, go on. Yeah,
that's Mkhitaryan's heat map.
Oh,
yeah. That's what I said. I'm not saying he can't cover the pitch.
It's just anywhere in the opponent's half, basically.
Yeah.
That's good. Is he the one who plays for Napoli?
No, he plays for Metz.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He's not that. I mean, what is he? I know he went on loan, and then I think Metz bought him last year. Or
and then
signed him this year.
They got relegated last season.
If he's a hard worker and he's got a good touch, that's fine with me.
Yeah. Totally agree, Michael, on that one.
That ball he put when Georgia scored yesterday, that ball he put across was just sensational.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and he can beat a player, can't he? That's the other thing. You want somebody that can get to the byline and beat a player, and put good delivery in, and you saw that yesterday. That's not a problem.
I think Michael McIntyre just wants a woman on the show. I think he's now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Saying Alice, get lady sound, get Alice.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my missus's wig on. No, obviously there was no disclosed fee for Ashworth, but we've heard obviously in the comments that Alice on her YouTube channel has said it was 2 million that they paid for him. Then I saw that it was 12 million they paid for him, and bless him, Win threw out the curveball from ESPN and said it was a 20 million fee you paid for him. So it's all up in arms. Well, what figure would you have been happy for, mate?
7.5 at least. Somewhere around 7.5 minimum.
Well, I think we've got more than that.
Yeah, if we got more than 7.5, then it's good.
It's a good deal, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a cracking deal.
I say, the way it worked out for me, I think 20 million was probably something that would have been great.
I don't like the look of that.
West Ham,
from
West Ham have bid today for Mkhitaryan. Yeah, South Links 2. Nice for you on the show.
Well, hang on.
Whoa.
Unless West Ham are going for Mkhitaryan because they know they're losing Bowen to us.
But like Foxy said, he does play on the other side more.
I know he's amazing.
Tells him all over the place but for the likes of West Ham, when he comes to us, he'll be more in a set position, won't he?
Yeah, if we get a Bowen, top 4, 100%.
Oh, that's a big ask. That's a big ask.
He's my. If I was given the choice, anybody, that's who I would have.
He's a right winger / striker. Get everything with him.
And Premiership proven.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He grafts as well.
Which Christopher poo-poos, but matters a hell of a lot to me. especially
the mighty
with
Win is the original DK from Beer. So to be fair, guys, we've virtually come to the end of the show. The stories have been a bit thin
Well,
out
no,
there.
because we still haven't got to the.
Wait.
Oh,
See, you're the bugger, you. I
but you keep
cast
on.
that
You're
line.
saying we've come to the
Cast
end of
that
the
line,
show.
and I'm waiting for the fish to come on board, man. So yeah, what I was going to say is, but I've got one last thing to show you, and it's the legacy of Mike Ashley finally disappearing.
Yes.
So as you can see, I don't know whether you can actually see that because it's a bit on the. Let's see if I can.
Well, you say I don't understand the headline that accompanied that, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the Newcastle United sign that's coming down. Nothing to do with Sporting Direct.
It's the
Sporting
font.
Direct font.
It's what, sorry?
It's the Sporting Direct font.
Oh, their font. Well, to me,
It's exactly what that is.
That's been there for donkey's years.
Well, yeah, because he put it
No,
up.
he got it changed in 2000.
He got it changed.
I think 11 or 12.
Right. Well, and of course, the significant bit about it for me is not that it's the Sports Direct font.
No, that was my
coming
next
down.
question. Yeah.
The significant part of that for me is what is going up there.
What's going to be the new signage?
The Aramco East
The
Stand,
Aramco Arena.
Aramco Arena.
Adidas Arena. Or Aramco.
Yeah.
Saudi,
That's what I was going to ask you.
That's the significant thing about that for me is forget about the fact that it's the Sports Direct font. It's the fact that iconic Newcastle United saying that everybody sees when Newcastle are on the telly. It's the first thing you see when the players are lining up. It's always there. I'm just underneath the tee in the front row.
Oh yeah.
But
I'll look next time I'm going, kid.
Yeah, you'll be under
I'll
there.
wait.
So I'm bang on the halfway line. Bang on the halfway line. Row B.
Viking, the Can Armarca sponsor us. Can Aramco, considering they're FIFA's biggest sponsor. Well, I believe they can.
Yeah, they can. There's no
sponsor who
yes, they can. Because I mean, to be fair, what a backing that would be, wouldn't it? That would.
How much do City and Arsenal get for their stadiums?
Oh, I have no idea, mate. I mean,
I think they get 35 million a year. I think it is.
Yeah.
So for the stadium sponsor, Etihad.
Yeah, Etihad.
Oh well.
So we should get, if we get 25 with their bullshit and all this market value crap. Yeah, 25 is good.
Could be Brewster.
It's better than Sport Direct at stjamespark.com.
Andy, classic, mate. Yeah, well, you know, the first thing I looked at it's the end of Ashley's reign now, isn't it? Completely. Once that font's gone, because obviously it just reminds you of
once Miggy's gone for me, that's it. His last signing.
Yeah, absolutely. So if for me, it'll be like Wayne said, and that was going to be part of my question. What would the stadium name be if it does get changed, or if it's a new sponsor coming our way? Because the other thing I was going to ask you guys, and again, I'm not being negative, and please don't think I am being negative, because we have seen a massive change in the structure of the club since the new owners have come in, right? But where I do think that we've probably, you know, not really concentrated a lot of our, I say not time, but money, if you could, would have been like the training ground. Now they've thrown 10 million into the training ground just to spruce it up. But if you look at the Etihad, if you look at Arsenal, if you look at the elite, you know, the red cartel, if you like. I'm not saying Man U, because I know that obviously is gone. That needs completely doing. Do you not think we've been shortchanged there? Because everything else is still the same. It's only the interior that have changed and added to. Do you not think they should have made a bold statement with that training ground at the time and really got it to the state of art? Because these have got, you know, as they allude to, we've now got 3 elite players playing for Newcastle United. Wouldn't you
Right.
make a
So
bigger statement by putting the money into there?
Are you aware that the Northumberland FA, who have the premises next door to our Benton
Oh, sorry, mate, I've took yours off.
training ground,
Yeah,
of that was just to say that they're getting £60 million a year from the Emirates.
right. Emirates,
And
Beer
the
Viking said 50 for 5
Arsenal
years.
new deal. So £60 million a year they are getting.
Wow,
Arsenal are.
So we will just.
that's for the Emirates.
That's Arsenal, yeah.
That's
the
crazy.
Emirates.
What's City getting then? What's City?
So
what's
we
City getting?
could claim easily that.
Yeah, we should claim around that.
But
as well.
what I'm saying is the Northumberland FA have moved out of Blue Flames.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is next door to the thing, and Newcastle have bought it. So
they've
there's
bought
going to be a
That's
brand new state of the art. Yeah,
I didn't realise they'd bought that as well. Now I knew there was thinking about it, and there was some mentioning of it, but I hadn't seen it actually physically purchased.
I'm pretty certain I've seen that. Yeah, they've definitely they're gonna.
Well, that's probably the
do
reasons
the
why
whole
they've
lot.
only found 10 million in there, hasn't it? Because they're holding back for that big complex. Because, like I said, the only thing for me is, we're talking about all these different things and how much money we've got in the coffers. But when we want to be a big club, and I mean, they're talking about obviously trying to move the ground, and everything else, and we know that's going to be virtually impossible unless they move it completely out of town. And that's what nobody wants. But you are still going to be limited on what you can do. And there was a really good YouTube vid from, and I'm trying to think who it was from now. It'll come to me in a moment.
Eddie, Tyneside Life, maybe.
No, it wasn't, mate. I know Eddie's done one.
True Faith,
but they'd
talking
actually
about
got True Faith,
where they had the architect.
Yeah, the architect there, and he was giving you a real rundown of what you could do potentially and everything else. Really good watch. But we are limited. I mean, what was it? When did we could come up with something like another maximum about 20,000 seats, something like that?
I don't think you can get 20,000. You can't get 20,000. The most
Because he was on about going up another level, wasn't he?
Yeah,
on the cantilever.
even if we spread eagle the Gallagher right over Strawberry Place, so you get a level 7 on the Gallagher, the same as you've got on the Sir John Hall stand. You're still just talking about 12,000 max.
Right.
And that's a huge
would it be a massive development, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, obviously they can't do anything now until the what's the name's gone on the Strawberry Place, can they now? Because they've got a contract for 3 years, haven't they?
Well, we're definitely not doing anything before the Euros.
No, because they're using the ground, aren't they?
It's the 28 euros. They're contracted for the 28 euros.
Yeah.
So nothing can happen. Nothing significant can happen before then, which is why the Stack have got the 3-year deal at Strawberry Place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't wait that to be developed, to be fair, because that's going to be really good. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days, obviously, because we don't know what's happening with the stadium name. We don't know whether that's coming down just to have new font or whether it's going to be changed altogether. So keep an eye out on that. That's going to be good. Right before we go, matey, over the last, obviously, 24 hours, you were with us last night, but, obviously it was all a bit still not sure where we stood by the time we finished our programme, and there was still a lot of things out there. Have you got any thoughts on what we've done and the rumour mill that's going out there about potential we could have sold the likes of Isaac and Gordon? What's your thoughts on all this, matey, before we say goodnight?
I'm just glad we've kept the 3 big boys, especially Bruno's contract wasn't broken anyway, and Isaac stayed. I think the Gordon one was bullshit, completely bullshit.
Well, it wasn't. That's fact.
I'm still a bit gutted about Minty because we haven't seen him, so we don't know what we're gonna get. Are you gonna get this world beater, or you're just gonna get another maxi kind of player who's up and down? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
We will regret it, but still, 30 million is a lot of money. And I know if it wasn't for PSR, he would have still been here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the terrible thing, isn't it? It's the fact that we have had our arms tied behind our backs, our trousers down, and spanked openly because of this PSR thing. It's got nothing to do with the amount of debt that we're in. It's just purely what we've already purchased, and it is gutting. To be fair,
It could have been worse though. Could have been Aston Villa, and they lost Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's now come to light about obviously Isaac and the Chelsea potential. And according to Keith Downing, and that's what I said, the facts are starting to appear now. Keith Downing turned around and said, apologies to everybody because you've probably already heard this because we started the show with this. If you have a look on Keith Downing's YouTube, buddy, he comes out with the facts that has happened with the likes of Isaac and Gordon. And I'm not going to go too far into it because, like I say, it'll be something for you to watch in a minute if you want to go ahead and watch that. And like I say, we've already discussed it in the future. But he does come out with the facts about like if Chelsea had a bid 115 million for Isaac, Newcastle at some point during the evening yesterday would have had to seriously think of taking it. That's how bad it was. So,
Well,
you know,
we
and
dodged
that's
the
what I'm
bullet
saying.
anyway.
That's
in
why
answer to
I
your
mentioned it.
question, Roy, we'll have to wait until the 19th of October to find out how good Minty is, because that's when Brighton are at St James's Park.
It's St James's Park, yeah.
What sort of reception do you think Minty will get?
Well, I'm hoping people just, applaud the lad.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Just hope it's not going to be Dan Burn on the left.
Yeah, Minte is Gambian for Anthony Great Della to get rid. I think that's deal to get rid. Foxy's put the last one. The keeper business is disappointing me and me, mate. I totally agree with you. People that complained about Dubravka off his line, just wait until you see Vlachodimos.
Well, I hope we
for
don't
short.
see him. I hope we don't see him. And Pope is
Yeah,
fit to play
I
the whole
totally agree.
season.
But I mean, obviously, he's going to be there for the cup games, isn't he?
Games
That's
and
what the
stuff,
idea. Yeah. I mean, that's the idea of getting that second keeper in, is just to give Pope a break. Well, from myself, guys, that's everything. Is there anything that you two chaps want to?
just need to give the hoof the twat.
Oh, absolutely, a bit of a plug.
Yeah.
Well, he's here. He's here. Go on, mate. You can you can sell your stall.
I was doing yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not working today.
No, I say you.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Magic. Yeah, so it's Hoof the Twat tomorrow, and we're gonna have a.
What time you on?
Is it I think it's 8:30 UK. Is it?
Yeah, you're on 10, aren't you?
What time is the other one? We've got the.
We're on at 11 o'clock on the worldwide, but I don't know whether Josh is doing that.
No, that's Wednesday worldwide.
Oh, sorry, the worldwide's Wednesday.
No,
What's tomorrow then?
It'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow, but unless you want to go on till after, in which case we'll just come on when you finish.
When you finish, yeah.
There was something on after before.
What's the shirt tomorrow?
It's our takeover shirt. The first Historia one with a number 4, with a dodgy number 4.
Dodgy number 4
stripe, in the front.
Happy days.
Great memories, and it was 3 years ago, but it seems like it was 100 years ago.
What memories! I still tear up when I watch that Amazon documentary.
Absolutely.
It was the season of Jekyll and Hyde. One win in 19, and then top 3 in the last 19.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
well, there we go, folks.
Yeah. Take care, all. As Ian has said, thank you all so much for watching. I've appreciated everybody. I'm again sorry that we overlapped with the look at the king there in the background doing his goodbye chat.
No idea how it works.
Doesn't work for me.
I think you have to move, do some bit of distance from the camera.
No, I think it's because you're on your phone, are you?
Yeah, he's on his phone. Yeah, that's why.
It's not the app. It's the it's just the website, the StreamYard website. So if you do one, you get the.
It's never worked for me.
It's never worked for me either.
Doesn't work now. Thumbs up. Okay. Just what?
Steady,
Oh, well.
steady.
Yeah,
That
be
looks a bit.
careful. Yeah,
That looks a bit
I'm going to
incongruous.
say, yeah. You be careful where you're going, especially if Lady Sam's in the audience. So, yeah, guys, thank you ever so much for everybody that's taken part. Thanks to the guys in the background, all the mods and everybody else that does the work. And don't forget to hit the like, dislike, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Ding the bell for anything future coming up. And like I say, really great show starting tomorrow. It's been on for a couple of weeks now. Well worth a watch. It's called Hoof the Twats. And they specifically talk, it's like a quiz a show to start with, where they specifically look at a year, football calendar year. And it's can you remember this player? And he's usually great at remembering remembering names, nearly as good as me. Not. So yeah, it's a good laugh. It's a good crack. So we're well worth a watch. And until then, it's a good night from me, and it's
And
a good night
from him.
from
Good
them.
night from
Yeah,
me, and remember to
absolutely.
hoof the twat.
Indeed. See you all guys tomorrow.
See ya.